What's good, everybody? If you're here right now, then that means that you're trying to learn the 3 moves that you need to make to get better credit. And you might be asking yourself, why is it that every time it seems like I'm almost to that point where I got my score where I can get approved for a house, then my credit just seems to hit a 180 and then I'm back where I started at? Or maybe you've already tried everything and just like nothing seems to work. Or maybe you've even hired a company and you've got absolutely, nothing or minimal to no results. No matter what your situation is, if you need your credit to be better so that you can get a house, get a car, or get funding for your business, I'm going to show you those 3 moves that you need to make that will help you get your credit to a better place. But first, we need to talk about a couple of obstacles that could get in the way and make it harder for you to see the improvement that you need to see. Now, the first obstacle that you need to know about is the fact that the bureaus do make it hard for you to try to remove anything off of your credit report. Now, if you haven't heard or kept up with the news on this, the credit bureaus are consistently being sued for not removing things that are obviously errors and inaccurate on people's credit reports, even when people have the proof that these items should not be on their credit report. Combine this with the fact that the bureaus make money when people are reporting things on the credit report, so that would not benefit them to take something off your credit report. And also, when you dispute things, money is also made by the bureaus during the disputing process as well. But I wanted to go and show you a few examples of just how hard they make it to remove things that are obviously wrong off of the credit report, so that you can see that I'm not just saying this. Okay, and right here we're going to take a look at a few different cases where people had to sue the bureaus. These are going to be different individuals that had to sue the bureaus, and they went to a law firm to do so, and there are different scenarios that they dealt with that led them to have to get to the point where they had to sue. Now you can see here, when our client moved, he canceled his service with DirecTV and returned his equipment to DirecTV. At the same time, he paid his account in full, which should have left him with a zero balance. However, DirecTV claimed our client owed $122 and sent this to IC Systems, a collection company, for collection from their client, and IC System was added to the client's TransUnion credit report. And you can see here our client logged multiple disputes with TransUnion regarding the erroneous IC System collection account appearing on the TransUnion report. However, TransUnion and IC Systems refused to delete the collection. Now we're going to take a look at another client right here dealing with Credit One Bank. Our client, who is a customer of Credit One, has never filed bankruptcy. However, Credit One began reporting our client's account as included in bankruptcy on his credit reports, thereby damaging his credit history and lowering his credit scores. He disputed the error with Credit One and to all 3 credit bureaus. Credit One directed Experian and Equifax to correct the client's credit report, but allegedly did not correct the client's TransUnion credit report. So the client then disputed the incorrect bankruptcy to report on TransUnion twice. Both times, Credit One instructed TransUnion to keep the inaccurate bankruptcy listing on the client's TransUnion credit report. So again, even after with the initial disputes to the other 2 bureaus, it got removed, but TransUnion denied the request twice, even though it was an obvious error for this customer. Alright, here's another situation. Our client is a junior named after his father. When his father recently purchased 2 vehicles from a local Toyota dealership, the Toyota Motor Credit financed both purchases. However, Toyota Motor Credit placed both loans on a client's credit reports with Experian Equifax instead of on his father's credit reports. Our client sent written disputes to Experian Equifax informing the credit bureaus that the accounts were not his and requesting their deletion. Despite our client's disputes, neither Experian Equifax nor Toyota Motor Credit removed his father's car loans from his credit reports. Another obvious error, because this person, it wasn't even his car loans. It was from his father, which he was a junior. But when you informed him of such a obvious, oversight and then putting it on his credit report, they still didn't remove it. Now you can see in this instance right here that we're going to look at, there was a lawsuit filed against Verizon and Experian arising from theft of the client's identity. Multiple disputes to Verizon and Experian did not result in the deletion of the Verizon account opened by the identity theft, which was reported on as a derogatory payment item on a client's Experian credit report. Experian refused to delete the fraud Verizon account, even though the account did not bear the client's social security number or date of birth. And as you can see here, the list goes on and on of different clients that this one firm had to do lawsuits for just because they did not remove information that was obviously inaccurate on the person's credit report. So now, if you're thinking that, just because you have a few accounts on your credit report, or just because you have some low balances on some collections and charge-offs on your account, you think that it should be an easy thing to get something removed off of your credit report, then I wanted to point this out to you so that you can see that it's not necessarily an easy thing to get something removed off your credit report, even if it is a obvious wrong account or erroneous account on your credit report. Now, the next obstacle that can get in the way of you getting the success that you need with your credit is going to be you and how serious you actually take the process of trying to improve your credit. Now, a lot of people and almost everybody is going to say that they want their credit to be better, but honestly, how serious are you really taking it right now? Now, we all know for sure that the holidays are upon us, and a lot of people are going to put their credit to the side, even though they seriously know they need their credit to get something important like a house for their family or a car, something major that they really need for their family's sake or for their sake. They will put their credit to the side because they're going to spend that money during the holidays. And I do understand, everybody's situation is different. And some people are going to say, well, I have kids or I have a different situation and I just have to spend this money for the holidays. I can't focus on my credit. And I know regardless of what I say, some of you guys are still going to go spend the money on the holidays and say, I'm going to put the credit on the back burner and not touch that at all until January. But because of how challenging the bureaus already make things, it's better for you to put in as much time as you need to on this and not put this on the side and put this on the back burner, because in a lot of instances, that's why you still haven't done anything about your credit to this day, because you've been putting it on the back burner and keep putting it as the last thing on the list to do because you probably really don't want to deal with it. But if you want to go into 2023 with a better situation with your credit, then it's going to be time for you to start overcoming this procrastination and kicking the can down the road and deal with the issue so that you can actually get it done, because it does take time to get it done, and actually meet the timeline that you have for your goal of improving your credit. Now, the next obstacle that you might be dealing with that can give you a roadblock when you're trying to improve your credit is going to be if you or a company that you use claimed fraud as far as any of the items or accounts on your credit report. Now, the thing with this is, if you claim that items on your credit report are fraud and they really aren't, then that's going to trigger a whole bunch of things to happen. And claiming fraud on your credit report is not to be confused with doing a freeze of the credit bureaus. That's not the same thing. A freeze doesn't hurt you at all, but claiming things are fraud can make it a lot harder to have items removed off of your credit report. That's the simplest way to put it. So if you have, went to another company after going to a company previously and that company, you allow them to file a fraudulent claim for you, it can actually make it harder for the next credit repair company to get things off of your credit because of that. And it can also make it harder for you to do the same thing as well. Now, there are two more roadblocks that you might end up dealing with, and I'm going to go through them really quickly. One is having an item on your credit report marked as frivolous, and how you get a frivolous response from the credit bureaus is going to usually be from you constantly sending the same thing over and over, or disputing things for the same reason over and over. That will cause you to get a frivolous response, and then at that moment, it's going to be extremely hard to get whatever that item is off of your credit report. But again, this only refers to if you actually get something back from the bureaus saying that your dispute is frivolous. And the last obstacle that we're going to cover is going to be you focusing solely on trying to build credit. A big mistake that a lot of people make is that they always want to focus on building credit and they don't want to deal with the items on their credit report that are actually negative, because they think by going, get a car loan at a high interest rate that they don't really want and paying on it is going to build good payment history, more than likely because the car salesman told you that, or getting a credit card at a department store. They think that just getting the credit card and paying it on time is going to build payment history and that's going to help their credit score. I'm sorry to tell you, but when you're trying to build credit and you still have all that negative stuff there, all that negative stuff is still there, and it's going to weigh down how much you will see as far as gains in points from that positive activity that you're doing. So even though you're doing something good, if you still don't do anything to address the negative items on your credit report, you will end up wasting time, because you might have spent 6 months building credit hoping for some type of increase and ignoring the negative stuff. And now 6 months of time has passed that you could have been working on the negative stuff and building credit and getting to your goal faster, versus doing 6 months on building credit, realizing that you're still not where you need to be, and then going back and trying to work on the stuff on your credit for another 6 months. And at that point, you spent the year's worth of time when you could have gotten it done possibly in 6 months. Now tell me, are you guilty of any of the things that I mentioned as far as obstacles, or have you seen any of these obstacles get in the way of you trying to build credit? Let me know down in the comments your situation and what happened to you. Okay, so now we're going to get into the 3 moves that you need to make in order to see improvement in your credit score. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to start doing is to start building credit. And yes, the last thing I just said to you was don't solely focus on building credit, but building credit is not the bad thing to do. It is actually the first step that you need to take, but you need to make sure that you're doing other things in addition to that. Now, building credit is getting a loan or a credit card and paying on it on time in order to ensure that you are building good payment history. But there are other factors that go into that as well, like you do have to be mindful of the balance that you have on that credit card or that loan, because that can affect your credit score in a great way. Of course, with credit cards, you want to have a balance of at the least 30% of your credit limit, all the way down to about 10% ideally of your credit limit is what you want to do in regards to how much balance you want to have on your credit card. As far as the loan goes, as you pay those down, it starts to increase how much it helps your credit score. But as soon as you pay it off, it will, drop your credit score, because your account will close with that loan versus the credit card, which stays open longer, which is why I tell people to build credit using credit cards, because they always stay open. You get a big boost as soon as you actually open up the account. But if you've never had a loan, you do still want to get a loan account on your credit, because having different types of credit reporting can actually be beneficial to your credit score. And if you've never used credit at all before, yes, you do have to use the account for at least 7 months and pay on it before you will actually see a credit score. Now, again, the reason why this is important is because it will help build up payment history, which is 35% of your credit score. It deals with how much you actually owe as far as debt, which is 30% of your credit score. And it, depending on the type of account you get, can also help with the mix of credit, which is 10% of your credit score. Now, I've had clients to do these exact things I'm telling you to do right now, and I've had one customer actually, he saw a jump in his credit score of 90 points just from getting a credit card, and that credit card hitting his credit report. This was the first credit card that he got. It was only a $300 limit on the credit card. So something as simple as that can have that much of an impact on a person's credit score. For every person, it'll be different as far as the amount of points, but this is the impact that customer saw after he got a credit card for the first time. Now, if you don't know where to go to try to build up your credit, I will put 3 links below in the video and in the first comment so that you can have some options even if your credit score is low. And these accounts will report to at least 2 of the 3 bureaus, if not all 3, to make sure that you're building up all 3 of your scores at one time, or at least 2. All right, now the second move that you want to be focused on is considering settling. Now, when I'm talking about settling, I'm talking about paying an actual collection or charge off that might be on your credit report. Now, usually this is something that me and a lot of people don't advise most people to do, because if you try to pay a collection or charge off account, more than likely the result that's going to happen is your credit score is going to drop, or you'll see absolutely no benefit at all. So why am I telling you to do this? Because there are some scenarios where you might actually want to go ahead and just pay the account, and I'm going to let you know what that is. Now, why you might want to do this is because in some instances it can help you get the account off your credit report faster if they already agree to remove it. Now, keep in mind, these companies do not have to remove these accounts off your credit just because you paid it. There is no law stating that they have to remove it just because you paid it, but a lot of people think that they do. That's not the case. But some companies, very few, like 1 out of 10 companies, might agree to remove something off your credit report if you pay it. And if you have a time frame of, let's say, 30 days, 60 days that you're trying to get approved for something, then it might benefit you more to try to see if you can do a pay for deletion with that collection company. Charge-offs, the original companies, they won't do it, but collection companies will. And like I said, with collection companies, only 1 out of 10 will agree to do that. So if you have a short time frame, then you might want to see if that's a possible thing with the collection companies that you have on your credit report. Also, keep in mind that after July 1st of this year, 2022, there was a new law put in place saying that any medical debt that was paid needs to be removed off your credit report, or will be removed off your credit report rather. So if you do have medical debt that's not, in the thousands, it's something that you can afford, it might be worth it to go ahead and just pay, $100, maybe even $200, $50 to pay that collection that's a medical debt. just to have it removed off your credit report. Now, if the items are removed off your credit report, that's what will get you the biggest bang for your buck as far as points that you get added to your credit score. So this is why you only want to do this if it is something that will be removed off of your credit report. And even then, only if it is a decent or reasonable amount, and especially if you have a quick or short time frame that you have to try to accomplish your goal. Now, when people get stuff removed off their credit report, from what I've seen from multiple clients, basically anywhere I've seen from, maybe 20 points or 50 or even 70 points sometimes from getting a item removed off of their credit report. And of course, this varies based on your credit report. And if you pay an account that does not get removed off of your credit report, I had a customer that literally had a $50 collection and they ended up losing around 50 something points just from paying that little $50 collection. So paying something of more value than that can also be less beneficial, especially to see such a significant point loss for doing something that should be positive. And if you like the information that you're getting so far, make sure that you do put a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to the channel so you'll get more information like this, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I drop a new video just like this. Now, the third move that you need to do in order to try to get improvement in your credit score is going to be to start sending disputes. Disputing is when you actually type up a dispute or a reason why you don't think something should be on your credit report, or why something should be updated or changed on your credit report, and you provide a reason for why you think that item should be deleted or removed or updated from your credit report. Now, this is important because this is the way that you get something taken off of your credit report. And a proper dispute can get something removed from your credit report regardless of if it's actually your account or not, or if you have paid it or not. Keeping in mind that there does have to be a real legit reason for it to be able to be removed. There are over 300 something, consumer protection laws, compliance issues, Metro 2 issues that you can use to try to get something removed off your credit report. So there are definitely reasons out there that you can use. And again, this is important because this is where you will see the most gains in your score by having items removed off of your credit report. Now, the difference between what most people do and what I'm telling you to do is going to be a lot of people go online and try to do dispute through the Bureau's websites or through Credit Karma, and they only give you, like 8 options, maybe 10 options you can select for the reason for your dispute. And most of those reasons are not things that are going to actually help you to see a removal, because they don't call on any of those laws or compliance issues that I mentioned to you just now. Now, I can tell you through using the factual disputing method and using the Metro 2 disputing method, which is something that I use both of those in my company. Using those things have made the most major difference in seeing people get results in regards to removal of items off the credit report that qualify under those laws and compliance reasons. So how do you do that? How do you do disputes? Well, basically, all you need to do is have a letter that you create and generate and mail in to the bureaus. You will probably have to do this for more than one round, meaning more than 1 month of sending stuff out. And basically, of course, you want to have your name, your social security number, your address. You want to list the accounts that you want to dispute, and you want to have a specific reason for why you are disputing each specific account. Now, you can list one account in your dispute letter. You can list multiple accounts in your dispute letter. It just depends on what you have going on with your particular situation. So make sure you do take a look at your credit report, see what errors you have there and what accounts are hurting you, and then kind of go from there. Now, while you're trying to figure out what it is that you're going to dispute on your particular account that you're working with, just keep in mind that any piece of account data on the credit report on each account that you're disputing is up for grabs as far as what you can dispute. There's, the payment history, the dates that are on the accounts, the balances, the payments. Any part of the information on that account is up for grabs. And depending on, whether you're doing factual disputing or if you're doing Metro 2 disputing, there are different ways that you can go about how you handle the disputes. But just pick a reason, put it on your letter, send it into the bureaus, and be ready to go at this for more than 1 month. Don't just give up. Most people give up within the first, 2 months after they get something back saying something is verified. And I'm telling you that that's not enough time for you to truly maximize your potential to get the results that you're trying to get. So be ready to put in the fight and make sure that you are getting the due justice that you need with these accounts so that you can get the results you need which is that house, car, or the funding for your business that you're looking for. Now, if you don't want to do this yourself and you actually need some help with these things that I mentioned to you, anywhere from building credit, knowing what to settle, knowing what to actually dispute on your credit report and what not to dispute, and actually what to do while creating those disputes, I actually have a 24-hour sale that I'm going to have going on for the next 24 hours. And if you guys either want my DIY course on how to do this yourself, or if you want to hire my company to actually try to do this for you, then I'm going to give you a very, very special and very good offer on getting one of those two things, either the DIY course or hiring my company to do the work for you. So make sure you check that out. The link will be in the description. And remember, this is only going to be for 24 hours. And I am going to give you a really deep discount because I didn't really do a whole lot of advertising for Cyber Monday and Black Friday. So I'm giving you guys another opportunity to go ahead and take advantage of that over here on YouTube. So again, to reiterate, to make sure that you are ready to go and apply for that house, that car, that funding for your business when it is time, the first thing you need to be worried about is trying to get an account to use to build credit. And especially if you have lower score, finding ones that work with people that have lower scores and that will report to at least 2 or 3 credit bureaus. While you're doing that, you want to make sure that you do settle those accounts that can possibly be removed from your credit report by calling to asking these collection companies, because charge-offs to the original creditors, they won't do it. Just call the collection companies to see if they will remove it. You might get a lot of no's, but hopefully you might get 1 or 2 yeses, depending on who's on your credit report and if they agree to remove it, or if it's a medical debt which has to be removed and you have a short time frame to accomplish your goal, go ahead and settle those out that will remove it so you can get the quick removals. And then third of all, you want to make sure that you send disputes for any other accounts that you do need to work on while you're building credit and waiting for the settled pay per deletion accounts to come off of your credit report. Now, I know this was a lot of information. Hopefully you got a lot of value from it. If you did, make sure you do hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll be notified of any new videos I drop just like this one. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you on the next video.